In the previous video, we learnt about two foreign tests, that is IELTS and TOEFL, which we shall give in order to fulfill our dream of studying abroad. We also talked about the minimum eligibility required to give those exams and also dealt with the registration process one has to go through. The only thing left was to discuss the detailed pattern of those examinations, which we shall discuss today in this video. In this video, we shall be dealing with two things broadly. First, the detailed pattern of TOEFL and IELTS. Secondly, at the end of the explanation of each test, we will discuss some general approaches or methods or tips we should adopt while preparing for these examinations. So needless to delay, let's begin. When we look at the TOEFL's exam pattern, we see that there are 4 sections in total: reading, listening, writing and speaking. Now this pattern must have been revised by keeping something in mind for sure, right? So in the very first we have reading section. In this section you will be given 3 to 4 texts and each text will contain 12 to 14 questions. So the total number of questions become 36 to 56. Reading section will basically analyze your ability to read and understand the passages. It will also test whether you are able to understand the logic and are able to answer them with ease or not. Time allotted will be 60 to 80 minutes. After reading section comes the listening section. Now this section is of the longest duration amongst all. In this section you will be allotted 60 to 90 minutes and you will have 4 to 6 lectures and 2 to 3 long conversations. You will be allowed to listen to or hear the audio only once. Meanwhile, you will be expected to take down all the important notes in the form of bullet points, so that later on it becomes easy and viable for you to answer the questions. This section will basically test your ability to understand the lectures given by professors in the classroom, or how much you are able and comfortable enough to understand or grasp things easily, smoothly or in a go. Thereafter, we have speaking section, in which a candidate will have to go through 6 tasks in total. 2 of the tasks will require candidate to present his or her opinion or thought on any familiar topic, and 4 other tasks will be done based on candidates' reading and listening section. Speaking section will test you from all angles. It will test your grammar, it will test your vocab treasure, it will test your fluency, and of course, the most important one, it will test your pronunciation. This section will allot you 20 minutes in hand. Lastly, we have writing section. Under this section, you will be given 2 tasks in total. One will be an independent task in which you will be required to write an essay on any familiar topic and thereby present your solid opinion on that. The other one will be an integrated task in which you will write your ideas based on what you read in the reading section and what you heard in the listening section. This section will particularly test your ability to have a very solid opinion on any topic. Plus, it will also test your selection of words and whether you are able to frame a good body of answer or not. Total time allotted in hand will be of 50 minutes duration. Just like TOEFL, IELTS pattern also has 4 sections: listening, reading, writing and speaking. Very first, we have listening section. In this section, you will be made to hear some recorded audio clips. And based on those clips, you will be given 40 questions to answer. Those clips can be a conversation between two people based in an everyday social life, or it can also be a monologue. This section will basically test your opinion, your ability to carry forward any argument, your ideologies, and so on. Time allotted in hand will be 30 minutes. Next comes the reading section. Under this section, a candidate will be given 3 passages and 40 questions following those passages. And the candidate will have to answer those questions by reading all those 3 passages. Reading section is basically meant to test your logical argument, your opinion, your thoughts, and how much you are able to understand something, or how much you are able to present an opinion on any given topic. Now, time allotted to each candidate will be 60 minutes, which is equivalent to 1 hour. Thereafter, we will have the writing section. Now, the writing section will require the candidates to go through 2 tasks in total. The first task will require the candidates to answer the questions by looking at certain graphs, certain charts, diagrams, etc. The second task will be an essay writing task. You will have to write an essay on any topic in around 250 words. This section will test your response to a particular idea, or how much you are able to take any decision, that is, your ability of decision making. You will be given 60 minutes to cover this section. Lastly, we have speaking section, which is the most interesting amongst all. Now, this has 3 parts. In the very first part, the candidates will have to answer questions, general questions related to their home, their career, their hobbies, their interest, their studies, etc. etc. In the second part, you will be required to speak for 2 to 3 minutes on the topic, which will be written on a piece of card which you had chosen before. The last part will have more abstract ideas and questions, and you will be required to answer those questions. Now, there will be around 11 to 14 minutes in hand to cover this entire section. So this was the detailed pattern of TOEFL and IELTS. Next we will see what should be our approach and methods or tips we should adopt or take in consideration while preparing for these examinations. So the very first thing which should be kept in mind while preparing for these examinations is a very solid and a good pack of vocabulary in store. Vocabulary building can be very beneficial to you in various aspects of your educational career. And when it concerns TOEFL and IELTS, you cannot afford to neglect a solid pack of vocabs. You will need a very solid backup in the form of good words while giving these examinations. Your writing and speaking section will be upgraded and will fetch you marks only if you use some high quality words. Second tip will be, or let's say second approach will be, to strengthen your grammar. Now let me be very honest and forthright here that if your grammar is not up to the mark, then please do not hurry up to give these exams. Take your time, strengthen your grammar, and then do the needful. Otherwise, merely filling up the form and wasting a lot of money can be quite down and unpleasant, right? So first, strengthen your grammar, improve a little bit, and then give these exams. Third mindful approach can be to improve your pronunciation and diction. When you speak, make sure your pronunciation is up to the mark, because when you have a bad pronunciation, it can totally ruin the listener's mood and can even fetch you low marks. You should also be very particular and careful about your diction, meaning what you choose to write and what you choose to speak. That is the selection of words and phrases in what you speak and in what you write. You should learn to be a good articulator. Fourth mindful approach or tip will be to practice a good body language. Now this is applicable when you will go for your speaking section round, because then you will have to have a face-to-face conversation with professional speakers. And in such a case, if your body language is negative or it has an informal appeal, then it will leave a very bad impression on them about you. So better to avoid mistakes. Last mindful approach towards taking these examinations will be to develop and practice speaking fluently. Now in this tip, I'll tell you a very practical approach, very personal experience which even I adopted to improve my fluency. What you can do to improve in this area, that you take any topic of your choice. You open the voice recorder of your phone, try speaking on that topic for 2 to 3 minutes. Stop the recorder, listen to the audio clip and see and observe where do you happen to fumble a lot. Repeat that process multiple times until you stop breaking in between the sentences. I assure you guys, you will be sorted. Trust me once. So these were some of the tips which I thought I must share with you all, and we all should take into consideration those tips, those approaches while preparing for those examinations. And yeah, if you liked my video, please consider liking it, sharing it and subscribing it. Until then, be safe, do well and thank you.